I have some
Sure.
questions that I have jotted down for you. So the first one is, what's one space you walked into that instantly made your screen crawl, and why?
All right. So Tushar, of course, I'm very sensitive to texture and material and stuff like that. But one space that I don't want to name the people or person or anybody, but what makes my skin really crawl is dark and unclean spaces.
Oh.
Untidy. There is no reason for you to keep your house or your space dirty. Okay, they can be dark, but not dirty. And when I see dirt, hair, it immediately freezes me as a person, and I feel. Nah. So I think just that as a space, no. Dark spaces, absolute no.
Okay. And let's say material and textures. Do you consider a design weapon subtle but emotionally powerful?
All biophilic materials. I think natural stones, pure wood, natural paint, line paint. I think they are absolute game changers in space for sure.
Yep. Then we talk a lot about visual impact, right? Then tell me, how do you want your rooms to physically feel to someone's body?
I think comforting, especially, technology has connected us to the world outside, but it has somehow disconnected us within the world that we live in. All right. And I think what human people what human really crave these days is actually comfort and touch and wanting to feel belonged. And I want that space to do that, feeling that, even if you have a dysfunctional setup, or you aren't talking to your partner, your spouse, your parents, or whatever, the space should be that warm hug for you. So that's the feeling I think I would touch into. I would want my space to hug for.
Yeah. And just now you mentioned about comfort, so I want to ask this one question which I was holding back from long. So have you made any space uncomfortable intentionally?
Yes, I have.
Why? I mean,
So, you know how joint families are, and how, of course, the grandparents, mothers, they love hosting people. But I've had, way early into my career, I've had a client who's come and told me that, I have a lot of guests that keep coming to my house and they just don't leave.
okay.
And if you can address this problem is all that she told me very subtly, to just know that yes, they practically every day would host about 8 to 10 people every day, and she was a homemaker. So you can understand the kind of pressure you go through. And all I had to do was create an informal lounge for them and create a very uncomfortable setup that, all right, I think we need to go back home.
Okay.
So yes, I have done that very
I
intentionally.
think we were talking about pet friendly, but this is something guest friendly. Hack, I think you can share with your friends.
Yeah, ergonomics plays such an important role for sure.
Yeah. Okay. If you had to seduce someone with a space, not a word, just a room, what would you design?
Oh, I have a weakness for open kitchen going into a living room, of course divided by this beautiful breakfast table come dining table. And I think that femininity going into the masculinity of space, where you can just cook together, you can have your meal together, you can watch Netflix together. Like for me, that's a very seductive setup, and I would hands down want to design that for my own house too, for that matter, So yeah, that for me is a very seductive space.
Yep. Do you think most modern homes are emotionally numb? What are we losing in our obsession with clean and minimal that we discussed?
Yeah, so I think it's that, Tushar. I feel homes back then, even, I would say 15, 20 years ago, even if they were not lukes for the term of, these really high class materials that we have, they had far more character. Because the clients were that much more involved with what makes them comfortable in space. Okay, now with Pinterest and Google as weapons, they are more of a destroyer than a constructor, and that's where I feel the gap is. So if we understand why the platform has been introduced, and then you use your own logic and emotional connect to the space, that gap can be reduced.
Swank way, that's how we roll.